The world is getting kinda unhinged lately. You may have realized it by seeing lately news or just, I don't know, rolling it out on YouTube. You'll eventually see it. The world is kind of boiling right now. Everything seems to be happening with the worst possible outcomes for everything imaginable or taking part. And we are all here just watching it, hoping that shit just not get worse. Well, every single day, shit gets even worse. I know, it seems like we are on the verge of societal collapse every single day nowadays. I think since, 2020? The world has been like this. But what if I tell you that the world has already come to an end? That the world, as you know it, has already ended. There's nothing really much of that old world for you. Okay, I know it sounds a little bit panicking, and I got panicked when I started thinking about it, but I don't want this to be just another doom ass video where I just tell you that, yeah, that's it. AI is gonna control everything, governments are gonna become authoritarian, give it up of your life, and just consume until you die. that's what some people out there are wanting to. No, I'm here to try and bring some optimistic out views from this. To try and think about how do we escape it? How do we get out alive from it? How do we get out human from it? Well, first things first, we live in the apocalypse. So you should run to the hills and just give it up of everything, waiting for the annihilation to come. Well, that's where you got it wrong. Apocalypse doesn't mean end. It means revelation. It's real. You can search it up wherever you want, you can search it up wherever you want to. That's what it really means. And I think this is what we are living now. The realization that the world is not how we get used to it being. Just say it all too already. You cannot trust politicians anymore. They all just ramble about some crazy shit and do crazy shit and are involved with crazy shit. You cannot really trust social media anymore because everything nowadays is AI slop or just misinformation in general, ideological bullshit from people that you don't really even know who are, but somehow they just show up at your screen from nowhere. So how do we survive the apparent government control of it all, the AI takeover of it all, the current state that the world seems to be heading in? I have an actual pretty simple but hard, and by the seconds of this video getting even harder, it's to find purpose. Just watch it how things are slowly turning to nowadays, and I'm not even kidding. You got this labubu stuff going on, and tomorrow is just gonna be something else, and after tomorrow is just gonna be something else, because overconsumption has kind of become god in our society. People just want the next thing to buy to be on the trend. People just want the next thing to consume, to not think about the shitty reality that they have put it themselves into. So I should just give it all off and run for the hills. So how and why to try and find purpose in this ever-changing, for worse nowadays, world? I truly think that by the days we are kind of losing contact with our soul. You may not have any religion in particular, but I think that we all kind of agree that it's quite important to kind of have something that you believe in. That may be the Big Bang, that may be God, that may be Buddha, or whatever it takes you to believe. Maybe you just believe in the greater will from Elden Ring. And I'm not gonna judge you, that guy seems crazy. The thing about it is we kind of lose contact with our souls. Nowadays everything becomes about buying the new stuff or worrying with the new world news, how AI is going to take over everything, how the government is trying to rule over the internet, because the world has ended, because there's not a lot to attach more anymore. You can see it. Families are not the same thing anymore. People don't really have no religion anymore. People don't really believe in nothing anymore. Everybody has lost its own sense of purpose. So to escape this kind of nonsensical dystopian reality that, don't be fooled, we already live in one. It's not like if we are walking towards one. The world that we live nowadays is completely dystopian. It would probably be a book. If we get through this darker period, you can bet my money that somebody gonna make a book about how things are nowadays, 2025, since 2020, and how this time was just crazy to be alive and to see how the world was falling into darkness pit. You must seek purpose. You must seek what is to be human, what is that makes you feel alive. And I know it's pretty vague because this is what reality looks like. It's vague, unsettling, but I think that if you try out and see some pretty on it, I think you can come out pretty good out of it. You don't need to have none of those pre-established objectives because they don't really exist anymore. You want to work 20 years in a company, get retired, but buy a car and a good house. Yeah, good luck with that, champ. Good luck with that. I think actually seeking something that is real, something that truly makes you feel alive, not because you are consuming something or gaining money out of it, but because it makes you feel good. Not in a dystopian way like we have nowadays, where you watch a video of 30 seconds with a hot chick and you get like, oh shit, that's good. No, real happiness, what really means to feel that you have accomplished something in your life. Not to brag about it on social media, not to brag about it to your friends, not to feel less unhappy with yourself, but to feel that you exist, that you have made it something, that you worth some. So start creating. I think I have a very different opinion nowadays because I see a way ton of people saying like, AI is the end of creativity is gonna end, now everything's just gonna be AI generated. I really think it's quite the opposite. I think that we are seeing more and more of this AI slop, and we're kind of getting tired of it. At least I am, and I know that a lot of people are getting just tired of watching this AI slop shit and starting to make things for themselves, starting to make the stuff that they always wanted to make, because, well, there's a shitty AI out there, so you don't even get to see cool things nowadays. Start creating, start thinking to yourself what to do about your life, not in a career, but who you want it to be, who your child want it to be, not in a way to make society happy about you, but what would make you happy? Being a farmer, being lost in trip fields down on some rural place, maybe finding out a new sport and trying to be really good at it, maybe finding a new hobby like editing videos and editing images, because you are human. You have the bless of consciousness, of creating things out of nowhere. This is something that AI can never have. This is something that the government cannot censorship, doesn't matter how hard it try. Humanity will never be lost to itself. I think we live in a pretty dark age now, because a lot of people talk about things that are coming and how the world's gonna be worse and worse and worse. But if you look at things now, I think it's this kind of pain, the pain of anticipation, the anxiety of how shitty the world will become. It's what is gonna make it become shitty, because if we were all actually like not giving a shit about this stuff and just trying out and find our humanities, not consuming all day not mindlessly consuming all day, none of us would probably even give a thought about that. So yeah, try out and find your real purpose. Reconnect with yourself, with who you really meant to be in the first place. And eventually, I'm pretty sure that you're gonna be fine. It doesn't matter how terrible the world is gonna look from 20 years now on. If you have found it yourself, if you have found it your own purpose, you're gonna be in a pretty cool place. Doesn't really matter where the rest of society will be. To end this video, I want to leave something for you to keep thinking about, for when you feel those desperation, when you watch that news YouTuber, see that article, and you're just like, yeah, we're fucking cooked. There's nothing that we can do about it. Just sit with yourself and think. The world, the society out there, it's collapsing. It has already collapsed. But that is a trend that I don't need to follow. I can find myself. I don't need to be lost. I don't need to be consuming all day. I can be me. I can be human again. And believe me, this is pretty rare nowadays. And it's gonna be even rarer in a few years.